Morning. It's Thursday, April 22nd. And at last, the Chauvin trial is over. It took the jury approximately 10 hours to come to the conclusion, and he was convicted. He was guilty on all three charges, and he stands to go to prison for possibly 40 years. The sentencing will take place in June. I don't understand why it takes 2 months to sentence, but that's the way it is. And I, for one, am glad this episode in American life is over. And it's not the episode of the killing of George Floyd. It's the episode of the trial that lasted 3 weeks and that dominated the news during that time. And you know what's unfortunate is we have news channels running all day long. And if you watch the news at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then you watch the news at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's the same news. So they just grind it out. And that's exactly what they did with the trial. They ground it out. It was on morning, noon, and night. And it's time that we took a rest from that. And I can understand the relief of all the people that were concerned with the outcome. And I think the outcome was correct based upon everything that I saw. And so I think, having said that, that's all I want to say about it. And I want to move on to another subject. So now I want to talk about one of the major things that affects all of us, and that's COVID-19. Now, apparently, the COVID-19 vaccine supply in the United States may soon outpace demand. And that means we're going to have more vaccines than we're going to have people who need to be inoculated. Now, that sounds like a good thing, but it actually presents serious challenges. Experts are saying that this will result in less enthusiasm to get vaccinated. And right now, we only have about 40% of the Americans who have a single vaccine dose, and only 26% are fully vaccinated. Now, when I talk to my friends and associates, because in our age group, it's almost like 100% fully vaccinated. So are we saying that the elderly population has been almost completely immunized against COVID-19, and we're waiting for the rest of the population to catch up to us? And let me say this, these same experts are saying that if we slow down the vaccine demand and we take our time getting vaccinated, then we are opening up ourselves to a dangerous influx of the coronavirus variants. All of those new strains would have the opportunity to attack and mutate and spread and set off a new surge. You know, we all heard about the UK, which we called COVID B117, and how that wasn't any more dangerous in terms of life, but it was much more transmissible. So if we stop or slow down getting our vaccinations, we will be opening that Pandora's box. Shame on us. Now, Fauci and other members of his cadre, the disease experts, are saying that in order to reach the all-important herd immunity, we must have between 75% and 80% of the population immunized. And that includes those people who were previously infected. It's a combination of those who got the inoculation and then those who had the previous infection. And meanwhile, they haven't decided what they're going to do with Johnson & Johnson. And you know why that was. That was because of the blood clots, those dangerous blood clots. But we have another group of people called the blood clot experts, and they are urging people to get the vaccine because they know something that is far more likely to cause deadly blood clotting complications. And that something is COVID-19 itself. And when you look at the big picture, the very big picture, we had 6 women who got these blood clots, or 8 women and 2 died, who got the blood clots. And that's out of millions of vaccinations. So it's a minuscule portion of the population, but it's still probably scary if you're a female, because no men got infected. But there ought to be some way to recognize the fact that you might be susceptible to those blood clots. So when I look at the situation as it stands right now, we will have too much vaccine. And we also have a younger population in this country that isn't eager to get vaccinated. They have the sense that if they get COVID, it may not be that bad. So they're not running to get vaccinated like us old folks did, because we felt this disease was a danger to our lives. But the youth in this country don't necessarily feel like that. And as I said before, if we don't get vaccinations, we don't increase the population that's vaccinated to 75 or 80%, then we become susceptible to all of the mutations that COVID-19 is capable of producing. And who knows how many variations that could be. So somebody has to step to the plate and tell the truth about this situation and encourage people to continue getting vaccinated. It's okay to have an overabundance of the vaccine. If need be, we can send it off to those countries that don't have enough. But let's get ourselves over the hump. Let's get up to 75 or 80% vaccinated. Let us not fall into the trap of feeling that we can be invincible because age is on our side. These infections are not to be messed with. We have universities and school systems that are demanding that the students show up vaccinated. And it would be a wonderful thing if the corporations jumped in and said, you have to be vaccinated before you can come to work, even if you're working remotely. We want everybody to be healthy. So that's as much as I want to talk about this morning, and I'll see you tomorrow.